So, so you know, I know that as athletes we try not to talk about it too much, but the off season is, the off season goes one of two ways. At least when I was a player in the peak of my career, off seasons were from if you weren't in the playoffs from January to about March, it was debauchery. It was flying places, hanging out, long nights, long days, just, you gain 10, 12 pounds, just you let it go because during the season, all the with all the practices, with all the hitting, with all the hard work, your body's so worn down. And, that last game, I remember this one like it was yesterday. That last game we played in, this was like my fourth season. We played in Houston for our last game of the season. And I'll never forget, I'm on the line. We're like, both teams are, we both finished that year, I think 8-8. But, the coaches are talking about, this is to get the ninth win. This is to get the ninth win. Man, we're on that field every down of the game. I would hear guys like, hey, last game. That's too much. It's too much. Trying to get to the offseason. Don't nobody want to have to go in for treatment tomorrow. So make sure that you going, we make it look good, but don't do too much. Because if you get hurt, you're going to be in there for another month, stuck in the city, going to treatment. Nobody wants to do that. So shoot, when the offseason hits, guys already got their flights booked. They're going to Vegas. They're going to Bahamas. They're going wherever they can go. They're going to spend about 10 days just off the radar. You're not going to hear from them. You're not going to see them. Tell me, what kind of first week off-season trips did you take?
Okay, so I gotta let you know you're right. That is exactly how it happens. And it's crazy. Early in my career, there wasn't too many places I actually went. I would start training again after the Super Bowl. Every year it was start training. After that week of the Super Bowl, I get back training. But obviously, as you get older and you start to understand more, you give your body that rest. Is where I started to take some more trips and go to places I've seen before. Mm-hmm. This year, thank God, before the whole COVID started, I got to go to South Africa for the first time. And I stayed there for about 10 to 14 days, and that was dope. Cool experience, learned a lot, and got to see a lot.
I never been. What kind of things did you get into? Did you do any safaris? I know they're big for safaris in South Africa.
Yeah, I for sure had to go to a safari. Then I even went
see any lions?
Elephant sanctuary. Yeah, I saw lions. We saw everything pretty much. They call it the Big Five over there. If you see like lion, I don't know if they had a cheetah in there. They call them the Big Five, but I saw way more than five. I'm going from hippos to giraffes. Just seeing them in person and not just checking them out on Animal Planet. Yeah. That was the first time, at least me. In a regular zoo. They're out and they're wild and they're free. So that was dope. I had the whole binoculars and everything. So
yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. I've always kind of wanted to check out the safaris, man. But I'm African, and people are like, "Oh, don't you like that kind of thing?" I'm like, look, Uche doesn't like to be anywhere where an animal can attack me. I don't like being around animals that actually match me on the food chain. That can actually, if they so feel like it, eat everybody here. And the one guy with the rifle, who, if he can't get it done, we all gonna be screwed. So, I love traveling. I love traveling, and I know that something like that has got to be just an amazing experience. But, dude, if you look at a lion too long in its eyes, it's coming for you. You know what I mean? Like.
Hey, yeah, you don't want to make too much eye contact, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to be staring at these lions. They're going to come get you. But I know for me, I remember my first real international trip after a season. That would have been after my second year. And there's a reason why I went here. So full disclosure to everybody who's in the audience, my my rookie year, I failed my first piss test for weed. So,
wow.
Which was a wild story in and of itself. I got tricked. I was, trying to be slick, and I played myself, and so I ended up failing my first piss test. So I got put in the NFL substance abuse program. NFL substance abuse program, you're in there for 2 football seasons, a year and a half. And, I was an avid pot smoker at that point, but I knew if I was playing, I had to, make sure that I passed my test. Didn't do it. So fast forward, I've been in that program. I get out of that program after the Super Bowl, my second season. I get the letter in the mail from the NFL saying you're good to go. You're done with the program, stay out of trouble. And by Friday, I had booked a flight to Amsterdam. So I flew to Amsterdam. And I stayed out in Amsterdam for 10 days. And I'm telling you, I was at the Wax Museum doing high fives with the Wax Obama. I was just walking around. I was at the, just enjoying myself, and I was floating in the clouds the whole time. So, that off season for me was special because it was like, now I get to enjoy, being able to do whatever I want. Don't have to tell anybody that I'm leaving, because the NFL would make you, if I was still in the program, I would have had to call them and tell them, hey, this is where I'm going. This is how long I'm going to be there. And, they could send somebody to come test me. Now, they won't send somebody internationally, I don't think, but they definitely, anywhere in the country, they'll send somebody to come test you. So, I was grateful to be out of that scenario and be able to, chief up as much as I wanted. I was in Amsterdam chiefing on the finest. I was hanging out with guys that I would never hang out with in my entire life because we're sitting in the coffee shop. It was a great time. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. But the off season is important for players. You got to have that kind of that release, that unwinding, because you deal with so much during the course of the season. Your body's so beat down. You just want to just kind of get away from it, remove it from your mind. And it's always a good thing.